Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's Saturday. That means it's time for another one of these Battle of the Masterpiece albums. So we've done all of the um, regular first round series are all done now. We're left with the elite albums from my masterpiece collection, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. And this one particular one was very tough. So before we get too far into it, basically what I'm doing here is I decided I would take all 61 of my masterpiece albums, my personal masterpieces, that is, the ones that I think are masterpieces, and put them into a competition with each other to see if I actually feel that way about the nostalgic ones, the ones I've had the longest. Are they still my favorite, or have things changed and I'm just holding on to something that isn't real, right? So, we've done the first 15 battles. So I've taken all the albums, I put them into 15 different battles, with the last one having 5 albums, from which I chose 2 for the to make it even for the final semifinal. So this will be the first of the semifinals, number 1 semifinal. This one's good. This one was actually by far the toughest one for me to do. Listen to all these albums again. A couple of them after the first, hadn't listened to many of them for a while, but after the initial euphoria of listening to them again. The second round for a couple of them not didn't do as well, but some of them actually got better as well. So it's a little bit of a this is what you get with albums you've listened to for so many years. After a while, they kind of burn out. You don't really want to hear them as much, or in the case of some, they just continue to get better. So the 4 albums, I'll do this the same way I've always done with all the series, which is I'll introduce all 4 albums, then I'll talk about each of the albums, and then I'll give you my ranking of each of the albums. So the 4 albums today are Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, probably my second favorite Sabbath album. It's in the top 5 for sure. Songs from the Wood probably has been and is probably still my favorite Jethro Tull album. But so many new albums from Tull for me getting in there over the last couple of years, it might change as well. The Yes album from Yes, this is their 3rd studio album. Um, it's been over the last decade or so, probably been my second favorite Yes album, but that could change as well. And then the final album on the list is Triumph's Just a Game. Easily been my favorite Triumph album. Probably is still one of my top albums. Was for a long time my favorite album, period. But a little bit of burnout put it down below. And one of the other albums that I've been listening to for a long time kind of moved ahead of it. So those are the 4 competitors today. So we'll do them in reverse order. I just did them since they're already in that stacked position, and I'll talk about each of them. So the first one, put my glasses on here so I can actually see something. First one, Triumph's Just a Game. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know this, and I'm sure most of you do, you've seen this, the preliminary video, or you've heard me talk about this album. This, for many years, was my favorite album. Probably a good 35 years, it was my number 1 album. I don't know if that's because it was such a great album, which I think it is, but I think a lot of that was that I didn't really expand my musical horizons until recent years. So it really didn't have as much competition as people who are constantly buying new stuff will always have, right? So this album has 8 songs on it. I do like the album cover quite a bit as well. Most of you have seen this, so I'm going to take it out if it'll come out. Sometimes they won't. There we are. Oh, I see what's happened. This little corner right here is stuck in there. So there's the album cover and the back of the album as well. And then inside you have the game that goes nowhere. It's a game without a start or finish. The endless game, right? So, anyways, this album was my first ever Triumph album. I bought it back almost around the time of its release. I do like it a lot. And it has a wide variety of sounds on it. So you've got some progressive stuff on here, like Just a Game, the song. You've got some classical stuff like Fantasy Serenade. You've got some hard rock and stuff like American Girls, Lay It on the Line, Move On, those type of tracks. Got some real kind of radio friendly, poppy, kind of commercial sounding stuff like Hold On and Lay It on Linus Court, I guess, falls into that as well. And you get some real bluesy stuff like Young Enough to Cry and Suitcase Blues. So it has a wide range of sounds on it. The album cover, of course, is brilliant. I think one of their best, if not their best album. I like it quite a bit. Um, anyways, I've long loved this album. I love the vocals by both vocalists on here, both Gilmore and Rick Emmett, both doing fantastic jobs on the lyrics. This is just an absolutely well constructed, fantastic album in every stretch of the word. I listened to it and again, didn't have quite as much of the effect that it had the first time I re listened to it after years of not having listened to it for a while. It had an impact on me in the first round, but not as much here. It didn't resonate quite as much as it did the first time, but still very good. The next album up that we're going to talk about is the Yes album. So this particular copy of the album I got maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Might have even been a little bit longer, maybe 5. Um, but it's a great album. This one has several bonus tracks on it. Your Move, the single version, Starship Trooper, Life Seeker, the single version, and the Clap, the studio version. So instead of the kind of a live part that they flicked in on the original album. So 6 tracks in total. I like all of them. There's no weak sister here. The Clap is basically an acoustic instrumental, but very well done by Steve Howe. And then you've got your big songs from me on here. Yours Is No Disgrace. I've Seen All Good People. Well, not, sorry, Starship Trooper. I don't know why I said that. Both top shelf Yes songs, in my opinion. But even the lesser tracks like Perpetual Change, Adventure, and to some degree, I've Seen All Good People, all really good. I've Seen All Good People, of course, is the one that was kind of the album single, even though I don't think it was a single. Just absolutely a really strong Yes album, even despite the different sounding keyboards from Tony Kaye here, not as dominating or not as much synthesizers as you would get later coming on, but still a pretty strong album. The cover aside, great album. The next album up, Jethro Tull's Songs from a Wood. From top to bottom, this may be Tull's best album for me. Um, I love every track on here for different reasons. It's got a pretty heavy element to it. Like there's some real hard rock and stuff on here. There's of course a lot of folky flavor to the album as well, more than a lot of their other albums, I think. But of course, it has some absolute incredible vocals on here. This may be the reason why Ian Anderson's a top 5 vocalist for me from this album. You've got some great instrumentation done by all the members of the band. Martin Parr's guitar work is absolutely incredible on this album. Um, John Glasscock, I think, is a strong bass player and really adds an element to this. And then, of course, you've got Barrymore Barlow on the drums. Guy's absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't get nearly the credit that some of the other well-known drummers get, but he is a fantastic drummer about it. And you got lots of flute here. Of course, that's what you would expect. The Whistler, fantastic flute song here. And of course, Ian Anderson's vocal parts really, really strong. I do like some of the piano and keyboard parts on here as well, especially the keyboard parts, really, really adding a flavor to this album. So this album is a well-constructed masterpiece, in my opinion. Songs from the Wood, one of my favorite songs to sing, absolutely great. And then you've got the Cup of Wonder and Hunting Girl, which are a little bit more heavy, a lot really catchy tunes, really catchy tunes. Ring Out Solstice Bells, this one really, over the time, has really become one of my favorite songs on the album. And then you've got Velvet Green, Jack in the Green, both of them really good deep cut songs on here. The Whistler, of course, having the flute on it is incredible. Pip Rock is kind of a different, it's a bit of an outlier here. Really solid lead guitar soloing and stuff like that on here. Just great track. And then ends off with Fire at Midnight, which may be the weakest track, but certainly not a weak track. Next up, you got Black Sabbath's Master of Reality. This is absolutely an incredible album. It's got everything you would want in a heavy metal album. You've got some real stoner rock here. You've got some almost speed metal type songs on here. You've got some real classic Sabbath stuff on here. Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, really well known, really well loved songs. Lord of this World, another great tune. Maybe one of the more underrated songs on the album, but definitely deserves to be mentioned here. My favorite particular Sabbath song on here is Solitude. It's a grim, depressing, melancholy song. Yeah, it used to be one of my favorites when I was younger. I still love it a lot. I still think it's a great, great tune. And Into the Void, which ends the album perfectly, I think. Um, and you get a couple of smaller little parts to Embryo, which leads to Children of the Grave, and Orchard, which leads into Lord of the World. Both excellent, and Tony Iommi showing his guitar virtuoso here as well. So, absolutely incredible album. So now I got to rank them. That was very, very tough. To be honest with you, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I'm still not 100% positive how I wanted to do this. So I'm just going to go with how it went during the listening. And yeah, just really difficult for me to separate all four of the albums. I mean, it's basically a two battle. So you got the bottom two albums, which I think were like neck and neck with each other. And you got the top two albums, which I think were also neck and neck with each other. And then in the end, I had to choose one. And so I've made this battle. I wonder if this battle is going to be typical of the other three battles as well. Um, it didn't end up the way I thought it was going to end up, and maybe it become a bit of a surprise for some people. So the first album, the album that finished fourth, was this one, Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, by a hair, just a hair. Could have been third, but I just decided that the one that I put ahead of it, I thought it had a better listen to for me when I listened to it this week than this one did. This one was great. The album itself is a bit murky though, so that might have hurt it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that was the case, but I think it probably hurt it. And the number three album was yet the Yes album. This, as great as it is, um, the lesser songs on here, Adventure, The Clap, and they might have hurt it a bit. I think the top songs absolutely pulled it up. But I've seen All Good People, which is a fairly lengthy track on here. Never really, never really liked this song. It doesn't feel like a typical Yes song to me, and I've never really warmed in. It takes up a huge percentage of the album, and I think that probably hurt it so that it ended up in third. So this is going to come as a surprise to people. This has been my favorite album at times, of course, for 35 years. The last 5 years, it's been another album, but I still thought it was, and it did very well in the first round, and I thought it's going to maybe reassert itself, but not today. Today, as much as I enjoyed it, it seemed to have a little bit of a heavy burnout feel to it on this particular listen, and it brought it down a little bit, and just enough so that it finishes second. So number one is going to be this album, which surprised me because when I was originally looking at the stack and these four were pitted against each other, I thought this album's been burned out for a while. Probably it might finish as low as fourth, but I had it on volume. I must have been the right mood and the right time and everything. And this album just had it all together. So it's going to be the one that goes on to the finals, which is probably going to be a bit of a surprise to people who follow my channel and know how much I love that Triumph album. But if I'm being fair and if I'm being honest about it, I just think this one has been better. And so it's going to move on. So number one, Jethro Tull's Songs from the Wood. So that's it for the first semifinal. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll give it to them one more time, just so in case you're one of those people that keeps track of these things. Jethro Tull's Songs from the Wood, number one. Triumph's Just a Game, number two. The Yes album, number three. And Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, number four. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe if you have. And if you want to leave any kind of message, or if you want to rank these yourself, you can. Maybe some of these albums are real masterpieces to you. Maybe some of them you think that I've just completely overblown. That's up to you. You can say whatever you want. I'm okay with it. And we will see you next week for the next battle in the series of my Battle of the Masterpiece album. So take care. Have yourself a good evening and goodbye.